everyone, welcome to Life Interrupted. I'm your host, Astrid Martinez. Here's what I know for certain. Life will interrupt you. It will shake the ground beneath your feet, blow up your plans, and leave you standing in the rubble asking, what do I do now? But what if that interruption wasn't the end of your story? What if it was just the beginning? Every week we talk about moments that we are going through or have been through and how we come out on the other side, not just surviving, but thriving. This podcast is here to offer support, to share stories, to remind you to trust the process and embrace the beauty in chaos. And this week, we talk about someone who took everything that life threw at him and gave to him and built something extraordinary. And then he walked right back through the door that he came from. Last week, I took you to Crossville, Alabama. I sat with students who had every reason to walk away from school, and they didn't. These kids are navigating immigration fears, family separation, deportation, financial pressure, and personal trauma that most adults wouldn't know how to carry. And yet every single one of them showed up to class, to graduation, to the future their parents crossed borders to give them. For these students, education isn't a choice. It's an act of resistance. And they had someone in their corner to make sure that if life got in the way, and it did, that lack of money wasn't going to be the thing that stopped them. Because today's story is about the man that keeps showing up for them. Now let me tell you all about Rick Baker. Rick Baker graduated from Crossville High School in 1977. He went on to earn a degree in economics from Auburn University, cum laude, by the way, then went on to Wharton School of Business. He holds designations in his industry that most people spend their entire careers chasing, including held only by a handful of advisors in the entire country. He serves ultra high net worth clients, and they are leaders in music, in film, in the arts, in sports. And he has appeared on the Forbes Best in-State Wealth Advisors list in 2024, 2025, and the Forbes Best in-State Wealth Management Teams list in 2025 and 2026. But on paper, Rick does not need to go back to a small town of Crossville, Alabama, and yet he does. Every year. This is a man who knows exactly where he came from, and he does not let success make him comfortable with leaving people behind. Now, that night alone in the gymnasium, Rick committed to $100,000. In 4 years, his total investment in Crossville High School has reached upwards of $300,000. And he is not done. When you came to Crossville High School, how was that experience? What was the racial dynamics? How was it going to school here?
Oh, wow. Boy, is that a great question. When I grew up here, Astrid, in high school, I had never went to school with a person of color. There was no Hispanics. There were no African Americans. And in fact, it was a very, very, we're talking about the 70s, and it was a very difficult racist time. And you were in a place that wasn't necessarily nice to people that were different. There was a lot of places like that in the U.S., but definitely in the Southeast that you had, that's a fact.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what it was like until I went to college. And now I come back here, 40 years later, and there's some of these roads and some of these people, some of these places I go into, I haven't been in 40 years. And everything has changed, Astrid, but nothing has changed. It was 3,000 population when I left, it's 3,000 population now.
Still, yeah.
It was poor people trying to struggle, mostly farmers. It's still a lot of farmers. But then how much is it different? There were no Hispanics, and now the school is 95% Hispanic. It may be, I think it's the most highly concentration of Latino kids in any school in the state of Alabama.
Wow.
And so the whole demographics has changed.
Yeah.
And with that, the school has done better, but also the school, unlike some other schools, has faced some challenges because of that. So that's what we tried to break apart. But because there's still this opinion of, they're different from us, and so they're not as good as us. And we're all the same. We're all neighbors. We're all walk and talk and eat the same.
Let's go back a little bit. Tell me a little bit about you growing up. You were raised here in Alabama?
Yes.
This is where we're at right now?
Yes. I grew up on a small 40-acre dirt farm in Crossville, you know. And so when I was 15 years old, I had a really bad accident and almost was killed. In fact, I was in the hospital for a year. I was partially paralyzed and all of that. I was really not supposed to make it. They said if he does make it, he'll be a vegetable. Luckily, none of that happened. And then that kind of set the trajectory. I wanted to be a musician growing up. Okay. And so when I got hurt, I lost the hearing in my left ear, and that kind of canceled out my music career. So unfortunately, God didn't have that, but he did see that he gave me a talent for numbers. And so I went to Auburn University, and I was fortunate enough to do that. I ran out of money there. I lived in my car for a few months.
You did?
Yes, and I had a scholarship, but that didn't cover my rent, and so then they threw me out because I couldn't pay my rent. So anyway,
how was that feeling? Yeah, I don't want to skip over that.
It was tough. I was fortunate enough. I married my college sweetheart. We had kids. Then I had my son Wes, who had leukemia at the age of 6. So. And then life has always been a struggle.
You also adopted a child from Colombia, right?
Yes.
From where I'm from. How old was your son when you adopted him?
So I heard about this child that was 6, and he was a street kid in Colombia, and he was in kind of a gang and being raised by his grandmother, and is in really bad shape. And his mom had come to the U.S. trying to make money to bring him here. And then she got stuck and she couldn't get him here. And she had her own issues that she was dealing with, immigration and so forth. I heard the story, Astrid, and I became like obsessed with it. And so I was single, I was divorced, and I go like, okay, you know, I'm 40 years old and I'm going to adopt this 9-year-old kid. And everybody goes like, you have lost your mind. You have lost your marbles. But we went on this path for 3 years. We finally got him here legally. He arrived when he was 9. He's 22. He's in culinary school now in Pasadena, California. He's going to be a famous chef. He's going to be a famous chef.
Yes, he will.
Yes.
He'll cook for some of your clients.
Yeah, he better start cooking for me. So I'm very, very proud of him. I'm proud of my other 2 children too. They've been beyond. They are both in the space of helping other people.
Amazing.
It's not about money for them. It's about helping other people, especially my son Wes. So, but we did that. And it gave me an understanding, Astrid, of what the Latino community goes through. Because I saw firsthand how he was treated. And he had so many issues when he got here because of his struggles as a kid. So we went through all that. I think we went through 12 schools in 7 years. Yeah. He was out of control.
That's a lot of uncertainty.
Yes, especially coming from that place with no parenting, with no guidance, living on the street, and that was him.
Because life can be relentless. What was your anchor? What kept you going?
My mom and my dad. My father could not read or write. The only thing he could do is sign his name. And luckily he grew up here, which everybody knew everybody, and he was kind of somewhat taken care of and never taken financially advantage of too much, although he was some. My mother had a little bit of education, so as my career started off, they had no idea
what you were doing,
what I was doing. They had no understanding.
So you didn't have a roadmap either.
Nothing.
It was like God guiding you.
My goal, Astrid, was to get an education and then be able to give my parents and myself and my family a better life. And I knew the only way that I could do that was through education. I didn't see ever being able to get out the poverty that I was in without that. And so then I broke through that, and then it projected me on beyond anything I could have ever dreamed about now.
When you first started working in finance, was there a moment where you're like, okay, I made it?
I'm still trying to reach that point. So Yeah, I think there was times. I think one of the things that was so proud, and I showed my dad my paycheck, and I said, like, he you know, because I wanted him to be proud of me, you know, and he never could quite understand. So I showed him my paycheck. It was so funny, Astrid. I showed him my paycheck, and he goes like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible. I've never seen so much money in all my life. I can't believe you made that much in a year." And I go like, "Dad, that's 1 month." You know, and he goes like, no, that's not true. And so we laughed, but I think I wanted to take care of them because they were my everything. And my family, my 2 children at the time were my everything. And that's what I wanted to do. And I knew the only way I could do it is through education and then work like crazy. And I did those 2 things. But I know a lot of people with a lot of money, and they're not happy. Money does not make you happy. It's the things that you can do.
Yeah.
And I think it's when you give back that's the real happiness of money. When you can do something for others, you can play it forward.
Has that been the biggest, I guess, rewarding feeling for you, having achieved all the accolades you've done in your business, managing the portfolios that you do? I've seen the pictures of some of your celebrity friends. It must be fun to also be able to know them and attend their events. All the stories that you can share are probably so amazing, a fly on the wall. But has giving back been like the most gratifying feeling?
Yeah, it really is, and I've been fortunate enough to be associated with people that I've watched what they've done, so I've learned from them, you know, about giving back. So
Okay.
yeah.
How do you choose where to give?
Oh wow, you can't help everybody.
Yeah.
I when I first started out, I wanted to help everybody, and I quickly realized, wow, I can't do that.
So several years ago, I read that you were watching something going on at your school, and it drew you to come back here and really inspired you to give back to this community, to focus on this community. And tell me a little bit about that event.
So I saw this video of Jelady Ramos, who was was given the crown. She was the homecoming queen for Crossville. And instead of taking that crown, she gave it to another girl who had severe cerebral palsy. And it was emotional. I wept. I cried when I saw this video of somebody who had something and gave it to someone else. And that started me on this journey. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got to do something. And that started that. But it came from that video. Jelady became the first recipient of the scholarship. And Lydia, the alternate who got the crown, she became also a scholarship winner. I think, don't hold me to this, but I think Jelady is going to graduate University of Alabama this year. I think she only has a 4.3 GPA or something out of possible 4. You know,
4.3 is way above.
Yeah,
She's great.
Yeah, perfect 4, and she's what, 4.3 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
She's super smart, but she probably would have got some scholarships, but maybe ours helped her go even more. The scholarships that we're giving away, I want to mention, it's not necessarily the person with the best grades. It's the person who is committed to try to do more. Most of these kids, I'd say 90% of the recipient of the scholarships, Astrid, go and work full-time jobs before they go to school or after. And they're taking care of their siblings. They're sleeping in a bathtub because they don't have a bed, and all they want is a chance. All they want is a chance.
I know, and I'm sure they're so grateful that they feel like someone sees them, because you can feel forgotten when somene's trying to make you feel other.
Clearly, it speaks to me.
So 4 years ago is when this started?
4 years.
4 years ago. And her story touched you, that she
Yes.
gave her crown to somebody
Yes.
else. She felt, let me share this
Yes.
this moment with her. And said, what did you tell yourself then? You said, okay, I gotta go back.
I said, well, we're gonna make a difference, and every year it's grown. This year, just
So you come back every year and give scholarships to the students
every year
and the teachers.
Yeah. Well, this year we've
teachers
added
do
some
help.
things.
Okay.
We are giving incentives to all the teachers in the high school. We're giving them money for their classroom. We're giving 5 teachers a lot more money for their classroom. Then we are, and this is an announcement, 2 announcements that I'll make. We give away 25 kids get 1 year scholarship.
Wow.
Okay, it's 1 year, full year, everything. They get computers and everything. They're ready to go.
What a great head start.
Yeah, so we're adding 2 things this year. The first thing that we're adding is if those kids stay in school, Astrid, we're going to give them a second year of full ride, tuition, books, everything. So they doubled. Instead of 1 year scholarship, they're getting 2 year scholarship. They have to stay in school, they have to stay active, but they go right in from the 1 year to the 2 year. Okay. The next thing that's important is that a lot of these kids don't have a choice, because it gets down to they have to work with their father or their mother or an uncle or something and make money to put food on the table so they can eat. And they have no choice if it's go to school or go to work.
Or eat, yeah.
Okay, or eat.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they have to choose eat, because then the family says you got to do this. So we're coming in with an additional thing this year, and we're making sure that they're never hungry again. They have clothes to wear, and that anything that they run into that's a major problem, that's a challenge.
Setback or a challenge.
The Rick Baker Family Foundation will take care of these kids for 2 years.
Amazing. That is so incredible. I'm
Thank
sure that
you.
their parents feel just such gratitude, because I've been on the other side. I've been these kids. I came to this country in the 80s, young, my parents, 3 children, no English, no dollars. And I know how hard they struggled. And I know how hard it was for them to get services or programs. So for somebody to come in and say, hey, I see you, I can help you, just feels like God is listening.
We had 127 kids, Astrid, that wanted the scholarship. We couldn't give them 127. We picked 25. I read 125 essays, because they each wrote an essay to try to get this scholarship. The stories that I read, Astrid, I wept. I had to shut down, because I read these stories from these young 16, 17, 18-year-old young men and women that were facing obstacles that I've never faced. And I go like, I got to do something. God willing, God help me be successful, that I can do this. And He's richly blessed me. And I just want to make a difference for this small group of kids in my hometown.
No, I'm sure you definitely are. Because of you, I'm sure they can keep on dreaming. It's difficult when you have dreams, but then you have to put some of these things aside to take care of priorities at home.
This scholarship will change the life of the child, but it will change the trajectory for the entire family. Because it puts him on a different path, just like the path that I had when I got out of school. My goal was to get my mom and dad and my family out of this poor place, not physical place, but this emotional and financial place that we were in. And luckily I was able to do that.
Yeah.
And these kids will be able, hopefully, but some of them will get this chance and they will become greater than I've ever been, I'm sure.
A lot of these kids feel that because of where they started, they might not be able, where they come from is going to determine where they're going. And I feel like that's a lie, and we have to let them know that they are beyond their circumstances. They are more than that. What is a piece of advice when they feel like maybe they're stuck, that they are not going to make it out of poverty, that they are where they come from?
Oh, I think they have to take one day at a time, and they have to believe in themselves more than anybody else. And they look at me. I never dreamed I would be doing what I'm doing. I have fulfilled all of my dreams in tenfold. I never thought I would do this. But if you work hard enough and you stay focused and you keep your life straight and focused and clean, you can achieve anything. You can achieve anything. I came from here. If I can do it, they can do it. And I'm just trying to give them a lift up that I somehow luckily got a scholarship. If I hadn't got my scholarship to Auburn, I'm sure I would be working in some place here, you know, which would be fine. But my life changed because of education, and that's what this is about. The education will carry you where nothing else will. If you have education, nobody, Astrid, can take that away from you. Nobody. No president, no government, no parent, nobody can take your education away from you, and that education will project you into the next world.
I think that's a perfect place to end on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rick understands something that a lot of people in his position forget, that making it only means something when you reach back. And Rick reaches back year after year without hesitation. And for 25 students every year, that reaching back is a difference between a dream deferred and a dream funded. If Rick's story moved you, or last week's story of the kids' testimonies that I interviewed from Crossville High School moved you, then I ask you to please like this story, please share it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Astrid Martinez, your host for Life Interrupted, and see you next week.